What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and we need to talk about Ethereum Inc., ticker symbol ATER, because this stock is actually taking a bit of a dump today. And I know a lot of people probably got in just yesterday and are very excited about this stock and the potential for a short squeeze and a gamma squeeze. So let's look at the chart and see what we have going on today. So, first of all, you can see that we had a massive run up yesterday. We were up over 50% by the end of the day. And that continued into after hours, actually. We reached almost $20. And that ended up being where we bounced off a little bit, as I predicted, right? I suspected that $20 would be a very strong resistance level for us. And of course, in after hours, we touched very close, $19.93. We couldn't quite touch 20, but that's because $20 has acted as a strong support level in the past and also a resistance level. So this is a point which I identified that I thought many institutions would probably try to bounce us off of to kind of discourage some traders from taking this trade. They might see a very strong resistance at $20 and be dissuaded from taking the trade. So, so we bounced off of it about twice. We got very close both times, didn't quite touch it. It was, once I said, as I said, a very strong resistance level. So we did end up bouncing down, trending down in early morning trading, pre-market trading, and then taking a big dump as soon as the opening bell rang. And we've since been trading in a kind of just this $15 to $16 zone. Now, yesterday, $16 was identified as a key support level for the stock. You see, we bounced off of it three times, right here, here, and here. And I suspect that 16 is potentially going to be acting as the next resistance level based off what I'm seeing right here. We got pushed down below 16 and we've tried breaking through it twice. Now, if we don't break through it soon, I do suspect that we're going to have a little bit of trouble breaking through it, right? Because it's acted as a support in the past. Now it's looking like it's acting as a resistance. Every time we've pumped up above it, we've quickly been shot back down. That's happened twice now. So we're really going to have to keep an eye on $16. Now, this doesn't actually speak anything of the fundamentals behind the short squeeze, right? This is just technical analysis. But if you actually look at the short interest, you can see that there are some insights that we can gain from looking at this chart, which is actually tracking the short interest against the price. And this is on Ortex. First of all, you can see that the current short interest is 54%, almost 55%, and that's actually gone up a bit today. Now, there's a reason for that, right? Now, as this stock, it wasn't this expensive that long ago, but as this stock has gained price, there has been more and more interest in shorting it because people think, institutions think really, that this thing is going to revert to a prior price that it was at, probably much lower, right? They're thinking maybe not that it will get to $3, but it might get to 4, 5, 6, and they're hoping to make a lot of money off of shorting this. So what a lot of institutions have done in the past is they've actually already been shorting this thing even at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10. And you can tell by looking at this chart where you see the yellow line is the short interest percent of free float. And this is actually mapped against the price. You can see it's these red and green bars right here. And you can see this period of time where the short interest really ramps up dramatically. And you can actually look that it was around $4 right here when it started ramping up, and around $10. Here's where the price was, around $10 when we reached kind of these peaks of 66%. And since then we have faded away, right? Because ever since we hit $10, we really started shooting up. And a lot of those earlier shorts who were shorting around 4, 5, 6 probably ended up closing their positions because they saw this thing really ramping up, and they may have been down 1x, if not 2x, maybe even 3x if they were shorting around $3 on their money. So they ended up having to close their short positions, and that's actually most likely what caused some of these massive run-ups that we saw yesterday and the day before. Now, since then, some new shorts have come in. You can see the short interest is actually up today by 1.98%, and we'll see what it is at the end of the day. But obviously, some new people are coming in and shorting this thing, especially around $20. That's a very key point that they probably wanted to be shorting this thing at because, obviously, in the short term at least, they are profiting. This thing has been pushed down, and some traders reacted to that key resistance level. So they're hoping probably, and it looks like they are going to be successful in this, that 16 is likely going to act as another resistance level and push us down a little bit further. Now, I do not think this is the end for ATER stock, and I'm not necessarily saying buy right now because it's looking like we are moving down a bit. But there is a real possibility that we are going to see a pretty big short squeeze because in the past, this stock has actually been up to $50. And we've reached very low lows of $3, which in my opinion was probably just a bit oversold. Probably a lot of shorts were just pushing this thing down, and that's really what allowed them to just get overzealous and to really get squeezed in this situation, at least. So I do think that 3 was probably way too low for this stock, even on a fundamental level. I haven't done too much research into the fundamentals of the company. I've more so looked at this as a short squeeze play. I probably will make a video later on the fundamentals of this company, but that's not what a lot of people are interested in. A lot of people are worried about the short squeeze and as well the gamma squeeze as well. So let's actually take a look at that, because this could really be affecting the short squeeze that we see coming in the next couple of days, right? This is the September 17th strike date, and we do see that there are a bunch of open interest call options for higher strike prices. Now, it's not guaranteed that we're going to hit these prices. My guess is that a lot of these open interest call options are naked calls, right? There are 2 types of calls that you can have: naked calls and covered calls. Covered calls are where you own the underlying shares when you sell the call contract, and you already have them in your portfolio, so you can just hand those over to whoever owns the call contract if the contract ends up getting executed. Naked calls, that's not the case. You don't own the shares, and if the contract gets executed, you have to buy those shares, and that in turn raises the stock price. My guess is institutions, if they're shorting this thing so heavily, right, 54% has been shorted, they probably aren't holding a bunch of shares of this in their portfolio, right? They probably are holding negative shares in their portfolio, right? They have short positions, so why would they be holding the stock in their portfolio as well? So my guess is that a lot of these open interest call options are naked calls, and that could create a real upwards momentum in the stock if this thing ends up starting to move for other reasons. And there are some other reasons which I can think of why this thing would start to move. First of all, you can look at the Google Trends data that we've seen in the past, and I'm actually comparing this to another popular short squeeze stock, Sport.com, ticker symbol SPRT, and you can see SPRT is the red line and ATER is the blue line. Now, in the past, at least, SPRT has been much more discussed on the internet, right? This is Google Trends, and so the red line has oftentimes been much higher than the blue line. However, that has just recently switched, and more recently, the blue line has become much more prevalent than the red line, thus meaning that ATER is more discussed than SPRT online, and this could really be driving up some real momentum and buying pressure and volume for ATER, especially considering the fact that we just got put on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, right? ATER just got posted to Reddit and Wall Street Bets, and it's still not the most popular. You can see it's all the way down here at 43, Ethereum Inc., ATER, and you see that we actually had no activity earlier. I believe 24 hours ago, there was no activity. I looked for this stock yesterday when I was making my last video, and it was nowhere to be found. And my guess is, someone pointed out at least, that stocks which have market caps that are too low can't actually be posted to Reddit and Wall Street Bets, probably to avoid, very typical pump and dumps and scams. But you can see that this line right here was completely blank, right? It was at 0, and just recently we started getting some action. So we're going to see if this thing really takes off on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, and that could be a big catalyst looking forward. So that's definitely going to be something you're going to want to keep your eye on, and I will be keeping you guys updated in further videos on that. So with ATER, it's actually a pretty promising setup, I think, that we have going on, and it's not a guarantee that we're going to just instantly pump up, right? Because you can see in the past, we've shot up, and we've then shot down for a couple of days before returning to an upwards direction. So I think that potentially we're going to see a similar pattern where we'll get shot down as some new shorts come in, and eventually those shorts are hopefully going to be the ones getting squeezed. If we can get this stock high enough, then the people shorting here around $16 to $20 are going to be the ones who are down 2 to 3x on their money when this thing is at $30 or $45. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I will definitely be keeping you guys updated. So if you've enjoyed this video, then feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And one other thing you can do if you want to support the channel is use the Webull referral link in the description, and that way we both actually get free stocks, right? I'll get a free stock, you'll get a free stock, and it doesn't cost anyone anything. It's a great way to support the channel if you're interested in doing that. And other than that, have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.